Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. I hope you enjoy, so let's get started. Hello everybody, it's been a minute since I've introduced one of these videos here. Maybe there's been some clips that I've done before this one here, but it's been a minute since I've had anything worthwhile to share with all of you. I've been working, as always, and the things I do after work or on the weekends, I've really just been making videos for the main channel, and I haven't really had much time to make something here, so I apologize for that. But I'm not going to bore you with boring things of everyday life. Today, we're going to finally do something a little bit more interesting, and that's finally address this shelf behind me here. We're going to finally do something with it, put some things up there, get some interesting lights, wire up a remote switch so we can turn them on, and maybe it'll be kind of like what we have going on over here in the mantle. We'll get some lights up there like that. Not sure, but we'll see how it goes. So I do want to display different items, not just lights that turn on, such as the very cool Pro light there and some other boxes and stuff, kind of like what's going on over here. So let's see what I can dig up and what we can get up here. I've always thought about moving the fiber optic lamp from its little shelf over here to up here, because I think it'd be neat on the corner. And if the fan's spinning around, you know, give it a little bit of a movement with the air. It's a little short. Well, the shelf is a little short, but once you get it feathered out, it looks perfectly fine. Now, an issue here is there's no real end cap on the lights, as you can see, but I have a solution for that. I have this piece of plastic here. It's got a matte finish on the one side, it's gloss on the other. We use these at work to cover up holes in appliances. This one didn't fit. It was too short on all the edges, so well, instead of throwing it away, I thought this is a perfect idea to cover up the end of our little Lightolier light trim thing that we made. So I'm going to take this in, put a little mark on the back of it, and we'll get a little strip of it here to put on the end. And there is our little piece. So let's get this put on the end. I think I'll do the matte finish out, or maybe gloss. I don't know. You see the line there if we do gloss. Either way, we'll get it up there and into place. I think I'm just going to use some sticky tack or something so that it can be, I don't know, removed if you want. It's super light. It weighs barely anything, but it should match the white color up there very well. We got our little end cap piece on there. That's looking nice, matching decently enough. And we got our fiber optic lamp up there too. We got the little remote plug thing. It's not going to stay like that. There'll be a different thing up there because I'm going to plan on having more than just one thing. So we'll have a little miniature power strip or something, but it's a start. We still have a lot of space to fill in, so let's see what we can find to put up there. Maybe we'll find some things right now, or maybe we'll have to find some things as life goes on. I just got done making a video on this beautiful 18-watt low-pressure sodium Thomas & Betts wall pack here, and I'm leaving it on for a while. I don't want to turn it on and off and leave it on for just a little bit. I think it's healthier for these pretty rare bulbs to be ran for a while rather than on and off all the time. So I'm going to leave this on for a while, and we're going to turn our attention to this fixture right here. Now, this looks like this one over here. This is an American Electric, I believe 115 or 113, it's one of the two, I think 115. But as you can see with the one next to it here, it looks very similar. These are knockoff fixtures. This one and this one have been seen on this channel before, as I converted them from 80-watt induction. The reason I did that is they were 277 volt, which is totally useless to me, but it's way more fun to have them something different. This one I converted to 35 or 18 watt low pressure sodium, which is so cool. But this one I decided to convert to 100 watt mercury vapor. But I think we're going to convert it to something else. While mercury vapor is totally awesome, don't get me wrong, I already have mercury vapor 100 watt offerings to demonstrate bulbs in. We have a mogul base version right here in this GE fixture, and multiple medium base versions that we have around to demonstrate bulbs in. So I don't really need the 100 watt ballast to be in this fixture. However, what I do need a bit more is a 250 watt high pressure sodium fixture. I have some 250 watt high pressure sodium bulbs, but I have no way of demonstrating them for you other than wiring up the ballast and letting it sit on the workbench, which isn't exactly the most beautiful thing when you could have it in a fixture. Now, the reason I want to convert this one in particular is, well, one, we already have other 100 watt mercury vapor examples to use for demonstration purposes, and two, American Electric, Thomas & Betts, all the different versions that have made this 115 fixture over the years, did indeed make that size of fixture in 250 watt high pressure sodium with a glass refractor, which is what this has. It has a glass refractor on it. Lower wattages would have had a plastic option, but the higher wattage definitely needed a glass one for the higher wattage and heat, obviously. So this fixture is going to get converted to 250 watt high pressure sodium. Yes, that looks a little funny up here. I mean, we have the 175 watt, a bunch of high pressure sodium. Really, it's going to just be a ton of high pressure sodium. There's the LED, low pressure sodium, high pressure sodium, and more high pressure sodium. But I need an example of a 250 watt high pressure sodium fixture, and I think this would be a really cool way to do it. So here's the fixture. We have our caster ballast inside. It was a nice donation from a local lighting collector. So it's going to find another home. Don't you worry. I have some ideas on where this ballast can go, and that would be pretty cool. We have our 100 watt Sylvania mercury vapor bulb in here. I picked up a whole bunch of these quite a long time ago at a restore out in the peninsula. So that is awesome. Again, that'll find another home. But with this being induction, we had a donut bulb in here, and that's what those two holes are for. That's what held it in place. We had to create a bracket to hold the mogul socket. And as you can see, I kind of came up with an angle bracket that we bent a little bit. And we got our socket there. So I had some bulbs. I put them away. I'll have to get them down, but I'm sure it'll fit in here just fine. We'll have to pull out our ballast and see how we're going to get that to fit, because it's going to be a big monster inside of this thing. Plus, we have to put the igniter and capacitor somewhere. So we'll be using, hopefully, the little bracket here for the capacitor. That's what's supposed to be held in place here. And somewhere else for the igniter. The photocell socket is not currently wired up to anything. It's here, but it's not wired to anything, as I don't really need it on the display. And we'll have to see what we're going to do to mount the ballast into place again, because it's going to be a lot bigger. Got the Sylvania bulb down and put it in here. Just a miscellaneous bulb I got with a bunch of fixtures back in the day. It fits perfectly fine. So we don't need to do much adjustments there. The arc tube is pretty much right in the center, which is, I guess, would be best, I suppose. It depends on the optics. You know, there should be different settings and stuff, but we don't have any of that here, so I'm happy with the way it is. Let's continue to the ballast. Here's our ballast of choice. This is a universal 250 watt high pressure sodium ballast. And this came out of a GE power flood that I ended up picking up at a restore a long time ago. Never made a video of it because it's in use at my work. I converted it to 400 watt metal halide, and it lights up one of our work areas really well. I thought metal halide would be much better for indoor use, especially when we're cleaning and refurbishing equipment for the color rendering of it rather than high pressure sodium. The fixture itself, the GE floodlight, was originally 400 watt high pressure sodium. So I had to move the socket to its lower position to better accommodate the arc tube inside of the reflector assembly. But this came out of it. This obviously isn't original. It's a replacement. It's lower wattage than what used to be in there, but it is in decent enough shape, and I think we can make it fit in here. Now, it still has a whole bunch of different brackets here that somebody put together to fit inside of the floodlight so that it could be mounted in there. We have our igniter and our capacitor here as well. So we'll get all that wired up, but that big behemoth needs to go in here. Now we got to figure out how this is going to even mount in here. The thing is just so massive. I don't even know if it'll even close up. I mean, I should just set it in here, I guess, and see if we can even put the cover on it. Yeah, I can't even put the cover on this thing. I put the door on here, and we try to close it, and it does get stuck on this. This is as low as I can get it, sitting on those studs down there for the screws. So we might have to mount it this way instead of vertical. That's going to be a bit more challenging, but where there's a will, there's a way. We're going to make this work. This is what I'm currently thinking. I took apart these brackets here just so they'd match, but one on each side. I had to find some screws that would fit in here. I had a big Phillips on this side, but I couldn't find another one, so I found these kind of Allen wrench looking things, and they work fine. You just have to put a couple washers on there because they're a little too long. But they hold the brackets in place, and the ballast sits here. It's just a little tipsy, but it wants to sit here. So we're going to use the bolts that it came with, and we're going to bolt this down to the brackets here. I'll probably just get it, somewhat tightened up, and then we'll finally tighten it once it's in here. But that should work. It's all mounted into place. And I tell you one thing, it's not going anywhere. It is in there pretty good. So I'm really happy with that. Happier than using some of this, plumber's tape stuff to hold it in place. This thing is wonderful. So where are we going to put the capacitor and the igniter? Well, originally the capacitor would have went here, and the igniter would have went here, I'd think. But we have some other options, and that's what I'm going to go with. We're going to put one over here on this mount, and one over here on this mount, keeping it as far away from the ballast as possible to keep the heat away. It's going to be hot in here no matter what, but will prolong the life of the devices. So let's go ahead and see if we can get those into place. And there we go. Our 250 watt high pressure sodium street light is all together. Now again, this is a very compact size. I don't believe they ever made one of these in 400 watt high pressure sodium, but like I said, I have seen these in 250 watt high pressure sodium. So we got our ballast in here all mounted up. It's not going anywhere. So I'm real happy at figuring out some type of V design here. We have our capacitor on one side, our igniter on the other. All the extra wires zip tied together and kind of pushed away from hopefully all the hot items. And we got our cord coming in. I decided not to use the terminal block again because I don't need the photocell socket. So we're just going to bypass it. And the terminals they have on here are a weird size anyway, so forget that. It is grounded, so we're all safe in that regard. So, you know what? We need to know if this thing even works. So let's plug it in here, and let's give it a go in 3, 2, 1. We got noise. Maybe it's going to take a second. I think it's on the 120 volt side of things. Maybe the bulb's burned out. Maybe it doesn't work at all. Okay. Interesting. Maybe it's going to take a second. I'm waiting. Maybe it will. Let's try it again. Okay, let's investigate. We're going to investigate really good because I'm a total idiot. It would probably help if we wired up the bulb, you think? No wonder it's not doing anything. I put the bulb wires down here. They're all capped up. Well, the wire nut's fallen off, but yeah, we need to wire up the bulb. That would probably be helpful. Good thing they had the wire nuts on the end. But, okay, one last thing. Let's try it again. Okay, we actually wired up the socket for once. Good thing the wires were capped before, so we didn't have a pop of a show. But we finally have the lamp wired up. Let's turn it on here. 3, 2, 1. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. Oh yes, it's very bright, but it's exactly what I'm looking for. Now we can demonstrate our 250 watt high pressure sodium bulbs. Thankfully, there's plenty of room inside with the ballast. It's not crammed in there with the door like it would have been the other way. So now we got to get it back up on the display. There it is, back up in its home. So now we have 175 watt mercury vapor, 70 watt high pressure sodium, 150 watt mercury vapor. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? 150 watt high pressure sodium / metal halide, because it can do both. It's some weird New York City thing. 250 watt high pressure sodium, 50 watt high pressure sodium, LED, 35 watt low pressure sodium, and 100 watt high pressure sodium. Yeah, there's a lot of sodium going on here, but I don't mind that so much lately because it's getting harder to find out in the real world. So we gotta represent it here. Here we have an 8-footer with a T8 and T12 bulb. Slim line, it looks like. $59 interesting. And we have one over here that isn't doing so hot. This is the only one on this property, but it's a nice old rapid start fixture. Too bad it's missing the cover. Other than that, it's nice to see that it's still working. You used to see a lot of these 13-watt PL fixtures in apartment buildings, but they're all getting changed out for LED naturally. So it's always neat to see one still in action. Need some lights for your hallway? Well, I mean, they make canopy fixtures, but you can use these LED area lights that are working out just so good. So good. This one's actually working though. Gotta love a buzzing mercury vapor. Isn't that beautiful? The European style streetlights are still here at this little shopping center in Auburn next to the Restore. Looks like they're still metal halide. Let's see if we can adjust the exposure here a bit so you can see the inside. Looks like an arc tube in there. Oh, it's getting really bright. Let me dim it down. Oh, there we go. Anyway, yep, there they are. A nice wall pack, but I'm not paying that much for it. Wait, that's been here since January? Goodness. Here we have another nice rapid start fixture. Gotta love that. And another one. That seemed a little bit more instant. There's one in that back room too. This room has another one. Some alto bulbs in it. Oh, there it finally goes. And, oh, just some LEDs. Here's a good one. Some cheap electronic fixture for F32T8 has F40T12 bulbs in it. Isn't that nice? No name ballast. Well, I guess there's a sticker on the side that says Keystone. What a surprise for something like that. Here at Frank Fulmer Park in Auburn, they chose to use some more standard floodlighting for lighting up the ball field versus what you'd normally see for, ball field lighting. Kind of something you'd see in more of a parking lot, really. PL fixtures like this are very common in a lot of apartment hallways and apartments in general. This one's interesting. It's missing its cover. We can see the 13-watt PL bulb, but it also has a capacitor in it to improve the power factor. That is interesting. At least that's what I can read on it. So that's interesting. Here's one with its cover on, for example. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Leave a like down below and a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. Of course, check out the other videos here on the screen. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.